Are you struggling to get your kids excited about plant-based lunches? Today, I'm sharing 5 quick, kid-approved lunch ideas that you can make in under 15 minutes. These recipes are how I got my picky kids to actually eat and enjoy veggies. Hi everyone, I'm Anjali. I'm a board-certified health coach and I'm a mom of 2. And I know how hard it is to pack lunches that kids actually want to eat. Here's what I've learned after years of packing lunches for my kids. Kids don't reject plant-based food because it's plant-based. They reject it because it's boring, mushy, or it doesn't have enough flavor. Today, I'm going to share 5 lunches that my kids actually request, that other parents have tested with their picky eaters, and that meet what I call the Lunchbox Trinity, which is protein, healthy fats, and fiber at every meal. This combination keeps kids full for at least 3 to 4 hours instead of coming home from school at 3 p.m. hungry and tired. So let's get into it. Lunch number 1, a rainbow veggie wrap, but I add a crunch factor. Everyone says make a veggie wrap, but here's why most veggie wraps fail. They get soggy by lunchtime and kids take one bite of a mushy tortilla and then they're done. But here's my method that actually works. Start with a whole grain tortilla. I use Ezekiel sprouted wheat tortillas or any other sprouted wheat tortilla brand. I like these because they hold up better than regular tortilla. They also have extra protein. On the tortilla, I spread a nice layer of hummus. This is your glue and it creates a moisture barrier. Then add your veggies in this specific order. Bell pepper strips first because they're sturdy, then shredded carrots, and then cucumber. I always also include a couple of crunchy ingredients, like roasted chickpeas or super finely shredded cabbage, chopped walnuts, or roasted and salted sunflower seeds. This texture contrast makes kids actually want to eat it. Then I roll it up tight, and here's the game changer. I actually then roll it in parchment paper and I twist the ends, kind of like a candy wrapper. This keeps it compressed so it doesn't fall apart, and my kids think it's fun to unwrap. For an extra protein boost, here's my tip. Add 1 to 2 tablespoons of hemp hearts into the hummus before you spread it. This will add 6 grams of plant protein and healthy omega-3 fats. And kids can't even tell that they're there. Lunch number 2, my peanut butter banana sushi rolls. This is literally my son's absolute favorite lunch, and it takes just 5 minutes to make. The way I do it is I spread 1 to 2 tablespoons of peanut butter on a whole wheat tortilla. Then I place an entire banana on top, obviously peeled. Then I roll it up like a wrap and I slice it like sushi down the center of the wrap. This type of finger food makes it exciting for kids and they're more likely to eat it. Plus, it just tastes really good. For some extra nutrition, I'll mix the peanut butter with 1 tablespoon of ground flax seeds and a tiny pinch of cinnamon. The flaxseed adds fiber and omega-3s, and the cinnamon just adds flavor. Pro tip, if you're packing this the night before, I recommend putting all the sushi rolls together once you sliced it. That way the banana doesn't get oxidized in the middle of each roll and it looks fresher the next day. Lunch number 3, my quinoa veggie bowls. Now most kids won't eat cold grain bowls. They're too dry and boring. But I figured out the formula that makes these actually craveable straight from the lunchbox. Here's the secret. You need a flavor-packed dressing that also doubles as moisture. My go-to is my tahini hummus sauce. I basically mix 1 tablespoon of tahini with 2 tablespoons of hummus, and then I add a little bit of water to sort of thin it out. I'll also add salt and maybe some paprika to taste. This creates a slightly creamy, nutty dressing that makes everything taste good. And then for the bowl, I mix 1 part quinoa to 1 part lentils, beans, basically some sort of legume. Chickpeas also work great. I'll add in diced cucumbers and diced bell peppers for crunch, and a handful of sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds on top. Then I toss the tahini dressing with all of the other ingredients, and then I season it with salt again to taste. I pack this in a bento style container and I'll put some diced avocado on the side for some healthy fats and then again just more creaminess and flavor. And I'll include some sliced cherry tomatoes or snap peas or basically whatever veggie my kid might be really into that day for some extra crunch. I also like adding some apple slices on the side for crunch and flavor. This dish is protein packed, super filling, and colorful. Lunch number 4, DIY mini pita pockets. One thing I've learned is that my kids are way more likely to eat food that they have assembled themselves. But most DIY kits are kind of complicated or messy. My simplified version is I send mini whole wheat pitas with my kids to school, and then I also send 3 small containers with build your own meal fillings. In container number 1, I use either seasoned black beans or refried black beans, and I season them with taco seasoning, salt, garlic powder, and cumin for extra flavor. In container number 2, I use a fresh mix of like lettuce, corn, tomatoes, bell peppers, whatever they might be into that day that pairs well with the beans. And in container number 3, I use a creamy element, and usually for my kids, because they love guacamole, it's usually guacamole. When my kids open their lunchbox and see these containers and know that they're allowed to assemble it themselves, it just makes them more excited about the meal overall. I have them stuff their pitas with the beans and whatever other toppings from the other containers that they want. Usually, they end up putting everything in the pita. I pack this with a side of fruit and some tortilla chips, and it's a complete balanced meal that kids will love. And lunch number 5. Apple sandwiches with peanut butter. This is another favorite, and kids kind of like it because it's a little bit different and you're kind of using apple instead of the bread, which is pretty fun. So here's my method. I slice apples into about 1/4 inch rounds, and then I use a small cookie cutter to remove the core. You need 2 rounds per sandwich because they're acting like the bread. And then for the filling, I mix together 2 tablespoons of nut butter, 2 teaspoons of shredded carrots. Yes, shredded carrots, no one can tell it's there. And I make sure to finely shred it so it really kind of melts into the peanut butter. And then I add a dash of cinnamon and maybe even a dash of vanilla. I spread the mixture on 1 apple round, then I top with a little bit of granola for crunch, and then I add the other apple round directly on top. I usually make 2 or 3 sandwiches like this per lunch. And then for some extra protein, I'll pack a container of Greek yogurt, maybe some fresh berries, and a drizzle of honey on the side. This lunch works really well for kids because the apples and the granola and the peanut butter, it's a nice combination of sweet and crunchy and creamy, and most kids tend to like it. And they don't even realize they're getting like a little bit of an extra dose of veggies in there. So that's it. These 5 lunches are the Lunchbox Trinity: protein, healthy fats, and fiber at every meal. This combination keeps kids full, stabilizes their blood sugar, and gives them energy all day. If you try one of these lunches, be sure to come back and tell me in the comments which one your kid liked the best. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because I post nutrition content and recipes just like this every single week. And if you have any questions at all, be sure to let me know in the comments because I respond to every single question I get.